Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingos. We're your hosts, Tim.
And LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us. You said that wrong and I got really confused.
What did I say? Hello.
Lingos.
Lingos. We're maybe doing more than one today.
Sorry, yeah, it just threw me.
I was like, you're looking at me really funny. Like,
I know it did. It really threw me there, but I don't know why.
And
I'm
you know
sorry.
what? And the thing is, Lauren, like, nobody listening would have picked up on that.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
Because I did it with such va-va-voom.
Well, you're just...
I'll get to va-va-voom later. But such verve and such class and character and energy, and now you've just...
I'm sorry.
Made it very clear to everybody that I mucked up again.
I think we should go back to the idea of just having that recorded, because I feel every week there's an issue with our...
But we never had that recorded.
No, I know.
We did it live from the word go.
But he had a suggestion that we record that.
Yeah, but that was just me having a lazy day going,
oh.
Could we not just record this beginning bit?
Okay.
No, I think the listeners can get a feel of our mood right from our introduction.
So whenever we go, hello and welcome.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously everybody knows that I've got a second wind here because I've got a second cup of coffee. We all know that you're huffy pants are.
I'm not huffy pants.
Did that wrong.
No, it just
me off.
It did just throw me, and it shouldn't have, because I'm a professional and I should have just ignored it. But
what happens when you're on stage and somebody doesn't give you your line?
No, you give me the line. Do you know what? I wasn't fully concentrating, so it was my bad, because then I was like, Lingos,
you were just sitting watching me, in awe of me.
I had still on my 20 hats on, and I needed to take them all off and just put my Musical Lyrical Lingo hat on. So I'm sorry. I was overthinking.
20 hats, that's good going.
I know, I'm a busy girl.
Why have you got your sunglasses on the top of your head? Did you have that in the last podcast too?
Yeah.
And I am only noticing now.
Yep.
Okay.
Had them
we're
all
getting ready to get into character and stuff. No, fair enough. All right. Sorry, I totally didn't notice those in the last episode.
Well, this has been a really fun start to this podcast.
Listen, it's just us being us, isn't it? Like, to be fair.
It is.
I mean, it's not as if we've been here for a couple of hours and we can still argue the bit out. And I promise you, it just happens naturally.
Imagine if we tried to script anything.
It would be so boring. It'd be
but
weird.
It would be so unnatural.
It's so weird. No, I couldn't do it. I'd forget my lines, and then you'd be like, you didn't give me your line.
I can't perform under these conditions.
Can't work like this. Diva. Right. A few wee housekeeping things to do, first of all, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, we are a genius.
Yeah.
Like, we are so, clearly there are some top-notch people out there listening to us and listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not getting the credit, nor are we getting the paychecks for coming up with the wonderful ideas that we come up with in this podcast.
I agree.
I sound terrible. I sound like I actually believe my own hype. I'm actually only joking, people. But in all seriousness, a couple of episodes ago, we had talked about cats.
Yeah.
And how we had a real issue with the most recent film of Cats, because it was awful. And I had said that, or we had said that the cast that they actually had for the film was top notch, brilliant, Judi Dench, Serene McKellen, and actually what they needed to do was a concert version of Cats and have those really brilliant people, playing the different cats. Fast forward.
I know.
2, 3, 4 weeks later, and what's happened, Lauren?
Well, they're putting the plans in motion for a concert version of Cats with said people.
Isn't that insane?
I know. How does that happen?
It freaked me out though when you sent me that link.
I know.
I was like, are you serious?
But how weird is that? Every time we mention something, then actually this is happening.
Because they're listening to us.
I know. Producers are loving what we're suggesting, and then they're getting on it.
Can we get a bit of a nod,
just a couple more reviews of the podcast would be great.
Well, I was going to say a couple of thousand in the envelope and post it through that.
Well, I'm not as greedy.
Yeah, sure, we'll go for the views.
They're not the views. Our views are good. Reviews.
Does no one review us?
Me, no.
Are you serious when they're getting this content?
I know, we're still...
Week after week?
No.
Go on and give us a review, would you? It'll go in my favour with casting for Mary Poppins, please. just give us a wee 5-star. Tell us we're great.
Yeah.
Give us a wee highlight, just so I can, build up my repertoire and my CV and my, what's that called? References.
Yeah.
References.
Okay.
So that was the first thing we needed to talk about. The second thing was my lack of organisation and knowledge from last week's episode. So we were talking about, we were talking about the Edinburgh Fringe, and I had said how it's amazing, or we had said like how amazing like some of the most recent musicals, like the likes of Six and Operation Mincemeat, started their journey and started their life at the Fringe. And I said that there is a show that is opening in the West End this year, very soon, that also started at the Fringe, and some of my friends had seen it and said, at the time they had gone, oh my goodness, we saw this show, it was amazing, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what it was called. It is Cathy and Stella Solves a Murder, and it's going to be in the Ambassadors Theatre, and it's starting on the 25th of May. So if you're about, go and see it, because apparently it is absolutely hilarious. They are billing it as a new comedy musical.
Yeah.
So there you go. It annoyed me that I couldn't pinpoint what the name was. And there's quite a few nice little musicals kind of getting their first airing and their first
I like this. So sometimes at the moment it either seems to be that they're doing anniversary concerts, or they're starting musicals out with a concert, and then it is being turned into a limited run. And something that did this very recently is Babies, the musical. So a brand new English musical.
Okay.
They had the concert maybe about this time last year actually, and lovely Hannah Lothar, those that know her from Six and TikTok, she was in it, and now it is going to be in the other palace.
In the other palace,
in the other palace.
Not the palace, the other one.
In the other palace, and it is doing a limited 6-week run.
Yep, starts the 31st of May.
And apparently the first week is already sold out.
That's insane, isn't it? And it's starring Heartstopper's Bradley Riches. He was just in Celebrity Big Brother, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, he was, yeah. Because he came out, I think he came fourth or something.
Oh, right, okay.
He was still in it when they'd kicked poor Marish out.
Oh, right, okay.
And I think he came out in the next week. He was announced, or the casting for it was announced. So there you go. There's 2 newbies. If you're about and you're looking for something new and fresh to go to, I also want to see 2 strangers carry a cake across New York as well. They're 3 up there, certainly on my list of newbies, as I call them. Yeah.
And it's always fun to kind of give a new musical a go, because you could be surprised, or you never know what it starts off as, and then maybe in a few years' time it could be something massive, but you see that at the very beginning.
That's it. You see its full journey. Yeah, so there we go. Sorry, I just wanted to
do I love all that. I love all that theatre news.
Housekeeping, because I was a wee bit annoyed with myself. Couldn't remember the name of that blooming musical. Cathy and Stella. And on to this week then. Yeah. Kind of in the same realm of new. I mean, it's not new anymore, but like it was one of, I think, when you think of new musicals, it was one of the most recent new musicals that's really took off.
And I think because of the time it sort of came out, I still see it as a new musical, even though like the last 4 years have been a bit of a blur.
It's very current and it's very fresh. But this is the thing, like it only really started its adventure just before the pandemic. And then that derailed it and everything else, didn't it? So I suppose it's still quite fresh in its infancy. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Everyone's talking about Jamie.
Everybody's talking about Jamie. Well, I don't feel we sang enough in the last episode.
We didn't?
We'll have to make up on it. I mean, it's very hard. I think it just did Bless My Beautiful Eye, and that was about it.
Go on, Courtney. We did that. We did too.
Yo, and Courtney was so last week. This week we're talking about Jamie.
Yeah, so it is a stage musical inspired by the 2011 British television documentary Jamie, Drag Queen at 16. The score is by Dan Gillespie, who is the lead vocalist and frontman from the, I'm going to say millennial group because they really do.
They're not.
Okay.
They're quite old in comparison to like popular,
Yeah,
pop
so
music.
Millennial, we're millennials.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair.
The Feeling. And lyrics are by Tom Macrae.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Musical follows the true life story of 16-year-old Jamie Campbell as he overcomes prejudice and bullying to become a drag queen. And I remember that documentary. Did you watch it?
So I did it all backwards. So I saw the musical and went, what? Like, where did they get this kind of? Because I realized it was based upon something, and then I watched the documentary.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I remember watching the documentary live, whenever it aired.
And then love a good old documentary.
We all know. We all know that I do.
Your count's quite low this season. Actually, there's not too many documentaries. You were pretty heavy in the first couple of episodes of the season, and they haven't really mentioned a wee YouTube documentary.
Because I'm not sure that the last ones that we've done have kind of.
No.
There's been one associated with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I obviously was aware of the documentary. I had watched it, and I actually was quite fascinated by it. I was fascinated by the support that I think. Not that I didn't ever have support whenever I did stuff. I did, but this was support of like what and the reason why he felt he needed to wear a dress to prom.
Yeah.
And I love like the reasons why. And all of that. So whenever I was like, oh, they've made a musical. They made a musical about this. That's really interesting. I wasn't too sure if they were going to take exactly the same approach, and it pretty much is just a retelling. It's just the documentary in musical form. Like there's nothing added as such.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen the documentary.
It's just maybe enhanced a little bit.
Yeah, for creative effect.
Yeah, but it's still a really cool story that they were able to turn into a musical, and it's a really good musical.
Yeah, it's really well written. Really good musical, and I think it's obviously a very important musical, but also they wrote it in a way that I think it will stay quite fresh for a long time. I don't think it's of its time. Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's the more you could see this musical as very one layered. Like only having one layer to it, and it is Jamie wanting to be a drag queen.
Yes, his story.
But that's actually not just what this is about.
Yeah,
there's a load that you can unpack with this, and I think that is why this will be around for a long time, because it's all of those other elements and stories that they talk about and they touch on that give it its longevity, in my personal opinion.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's proven to be a real touring hit. I think it will probably be one of those almost like a Hairspray, where they'll tour year after year after year after year for quite some time. And I think casting wise and producer wise, they've been quite clever in that they have made clever choices as to their casting.
Yeah.
And they've gone down the route of star casting already. Do you know what I mean? But I think it fits for this show, and I think it's relevant, and I just think it's a real clever, choice. It did start its legs at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield on the 13th of February 2017. It seems like so long.
It really does.
And was directed by Jonathan Buttrell. The musical transferred then to the West End Apollo Theatre from the 6th of November 2017, with most of the original Crucible cast still in place.
I love whenever that happens.
Yeah, and I mean, when you talk about the original cast, the original Jamie and his mother, who are the two most important characters, were absolutely, in my opinion, sublime. So we're talking about John McCrae as Jamie New, and Josie Walker, a Belfast girl.
I know, Roy Walker's daughter.
Oh, huh? Oh yes, we've had this conversation before.
Yeah,
yes, that's right.
Daughter.
Yeah, and it blew my mind the first time. Yeah, so we've already talked about her. What episode was that we talked about her in?
I'm not sure.
But she's stumped. Like, she is unbelievable in this show.
If you have to listen, just listen to the original cast recording.
1000%. And the problem is, there's been such brilliant women who have played the mother since in various different, in town and on tour. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anyone will ever come close to Josie Walker's.
And she was nominated for an Olivier.
Yeah, just unbelievable. The show did play until COVID.
It did, yeah.
And then it did reopen in December 2020 with social distancing. Do you remember that? Only to close 4 days later. That was when we opened up everything, and then 4 days later we closed everything down again. And I was like, seriously, what are you doing? It then reopened again on the 20th of May 2021 and ran to the 26th of September. Day after my birthday. A UK tour began in February 2020, starring Leighton Williams, who we know from Bad Education, and any UK viewers from Strictly recently, he was on it.
And actually him and Nicola, how can you say his name?
Nikolai.
I've just announced a show. They're going on tour. They're putting on a wee performance.
That's cool. That's nice. They got really close, didn't they? Really, really friendly. Shane Ritchie also appeared in that tour as Hugo Loco. Or Loco Chanel, the drag queen who was kind of like that support to Jamie. Yeah. Kind of showed him the ropes.
Yeah.
The baby steps into the world of drag. It also was obviously forced to stop in March 2020 because of COVID, but then the tour returned in 2021 with Bianca Del Rio.
I know. So explain.
Chanel.
So explain.
So Bianca Del Rio was a winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm sure we'll maybe come on to it later. And when I saw it, went, that's a bit of a nightmare. That's going to be horrendous. But Bianca Del Rio was really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And I mean, it's just toured ever since, and it's just been in and out of West End. It's become a bit of a show where in the West End now, if there's a limited period where a theatre is dark, or it's too short of a time to bring something new in, or a new production in, they shove Jamie in. They take it from the UK tour and they put it into town for 3 or 4 months, and then it goes back out on tour.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's fun for the the performers too, in that they're enjoying touring life, but actually then they get a wee bit of a stable time in town for a while, and then they go back out and tour. It's great. It's also, I didn't realise just how international it was, but it's also now had productions in Korea, Japan, LA, Australia, Italy, Mexico, and Sweden.
I know, it is kind of crazy.
For a story based on a UK 16-year-old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really cool that, it's doing so well out there.
Yeah.
And then on the 5th of July 2018, it was broadcast live in cinemas across the UK and Ireland. And I did see it.
Yeah. But it was filmed back in 2018/2019. But there was a whole lot of controversy about the release.
Why?
It was that they wouldn't release it in films. They wouldn't release it in theatres, and then it was being held back because they felt it needed to be released in theatre, and then eventually it was just bought by Prime, and then that's why it was released in Prime by 2021. But I think some people lost an awful lot of money.
Are you talking about the live broadcast of the actual show?
No, sorry, I'm talking about the film.
Okay,
sorry,
so there was a 2021 film adaptation as well.
Sorry.
Okay, right. So that was a bit of a mess,
yes,
was it?
That was a bit of a mess.
And then Prime won the day. Came and won the day.
Yeah.
Very good. That film that you're talking about, it stars Max Harwood as Jamie, my favourite, Sarah Lancashire as the mum.
Yeah.
Happy Valley.
Yeah.
For any people out there, Richard E. Grant plays Loco Chanel beautifully, and Shobna Gulati, who has a great like kind of story with this musical. So she was the original Ray, so she plays Jamie's mum's best friend, almost like Jamie's dad.
Yeah, just another adult
Jamie's
figure.
dad kind of doesn't want anything to do with him, doesn't accept that he's gay, and is just a horrible character. And Ray almost is like, well, don't worry because I'm your dad.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be your dad. But she was in the original production.
Yeah.
She has played it in the film.
Yeah.
And she has just finished one of the UK tours. Like I think she's toured with it a couple of times. And I didn't realise, but she went to America to do the LA production as well.
Okay. I didn't realise that.
So I'm like, so she clearly loves it.
Yes.
And there's no better, like, you know, when you talk about characters that are really linked to that actor,
the person who originated it,
and you're like, you know, she's just, you can't get a better Ray than her.
Yeah,
like,
no, she's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Yeah, I really like that film. You know, I do like the film adaptation of it. There's not much changed in it, like, you know, but
they added a song for Loco Chanel, and I think it's like I actually, when I saw the film, went, they need to put that song into.
What song did they add?
Oh, I'll have to go on to my listening platform and look up the name of it. But I remember when I watched the film, it's the song where Loco Chanel's basically reminiscing on his years in drag, and you know how it all.
Oh, I didn't realise that that's only in the film.
Yeah, no, that's only in the film. It's not actually in the musical. And I was like, they have to put that in. Like it's such a beautiful. This Was Me. It's called.
Oh yeah.
This Was Me.
Yeah, that was a beautiful song.
It's
I did not realise that was.
Yeah, so it was one of the new songs or additional songs that they put in for that film, but they need to put it in the musical. It's fantastic. And also a lot of Loco Chanel's songs in the musical are campery and very drag, but actually that song, This Was Me, it has real heart and depth, and I think it would deepen that character in the musical as well.
Especially because the scene after that is Jamie talking about how drag queens and how AIDS had such an effect in the 80s, and how they really fought for him to be able to wear a dress.
Yeah.
So it actually adds a whole other like power. Like, yes, we did this, we fought together type
and
thing.
Also, like, you know, I didn't really know the role of drag queens in, you know, that queer history. But actually, they're superheroes because they were the ones that stood at the front and led for protest, you know, led for change and all the rest of it. Like, I didn't get it. I thought it was like, I just thought it was something about, you know, gay culture. You know, you go to a club and there'll be a drag queen, and you know they're there to, you know, because they tell jokes and makes everybody's night because they're funny and they're entertainment. It was an entertainment thing for me the first time I went to, you know, a club and there was a drag queen there, and it's only, you know, things like Loco Chanel's story and that song particularly in the film that kind of show actually they led, like they put themselves out there,
and I think
definitely for the abuse and, you know, all that,
how that is shown, and especially with the it's like looking at a video from like 1987, you get it, like, and it's very moving, so
beautiful song.
And I suppose that's why drag queens in the queer culture are known as mothers, because they were there to look after everybody. So mothers that all kind of makes Kind of makes it all make more sense.
There you go. I didn't realise you weren't aware that was a wee added in song, but it is. It's a good one. I actually am going to listen to it on my way home tonight.
Here, do you know what I did do?
What'd you do?
I looked up what our drag names would be. Do you want me to tell you?
Oh my goodness. What's yours first of all?
Okay, so mine is... Well, Aaron isn't here this evening.
Aaron's feeling sickly again.
So
do you know what it was? We were so hilarious. He had to go, in the last episode, he had to go and lie down.
So his is Lady Peaches Cummings.
I can see him as a Lady Peaches Cummings with a like powder pink wig.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Do you see it, right?
Yeah, you're fab.
Is he keeping the like beard? Like I think so.
Yeah. Mine is Lady Serena Cummings, which is so weird because that's the name my mum was going to give me before Lauren, but it was going to be spelled TZTSARINA.
Wow.
So
she's probably going to call you Lady too.
Later. No, you have two because it depends.
Of course I do.
Well, it depends if you go by your actual first name or you go by Timothy.
Okay, yeah.
So if you want to go by your actual first name, you are Lady Venus Fontits.
I'm sorry, but my drag queen name's better than both of you.
Or if you're just going to go with Timothy, you're Lady Raven Fontits.
Even better, like they're really good.
Aren't they class?
I need to write them down and take them away with me. That's hilarious. Lady Venus Von Tits.
So you can be Venus. You could just actually be Lady Venus Raven Von Tits.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to call you.
We should have dressed up this week, shouldn't we?
I know.
We didn't think this. Only that it's a... What is that? Is it a Wednesday or it's a Thursday night? Thank God. Friday tomorrow. Only that it's a Thursday night and we're both wrecked.
Yeah.
Very good. I am excited for this week's Musical Lyrical Lingo because I just think I love this show. Yeah. I do love it. So, what did we learn?
Well, do you want to go first?
Obviously to be yourself and to celebrate difference.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
the overriding arch of this whole show, and we've just talked about that kind of queer culture and history of the oppression that was had by that that part of society. But it also taught me some modern lingo.
Oh, what did it teach
so that
you?
I'm down with the
kids.
with
the kids, yep.
So the first word was meh.
Oh.
MEH. Yeah. Because you're meh and kind of slow, and I'm go go go. Jamie sings. So I mean, I don't know what it means. Meh just means meh, whatever. Blah. Yeah. Because that's helpful. Because meh and blah. Well, that's a much clearer definition for me,
You're just a bit boring.
Okay, so I'm not meh.
No, you're
I'm
not.
Go go go.
Yeah.
Also, he mentions about being lit. LIT.
Yeah.
So, cause baby, I'm a hit. Cause baby, I'm a lit. Cause baby, I'm a hit. I'm a hit. Yeah, I'm lit.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to toss my hair like Venus Raven Von Tits would do.
You're like you're like a lit up match.
Okay.
Like
on
you're
fire.
burning, you're on fire.
Yeah. The beat got sick.
Yeah. And I have 6 ones that's been around.
You're so sick.
Yeah.
I'll pass you the bucket.
And then it's come back.
Yeah. You are so sick. You're so sick.
Yeah.
Cray.
Oh. Cray.
Kids be cray. Double on double.
Yeah. Cray.
Crazy, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
And then I mentioned it in or at the beginning, va va voom. So you better give me room for my va va voom.
And what does that mean?
Fast car. No, I'm joking.
Well.
For just my style.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like my energy, my aura. You need to this is my va va voom. This is me.
If you weren't as cool as us, you probably would need a thesaurus when you go to see the show, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But we're just so cool.
We just know all the
Everybody's talking about Jamie. Is also full of pop culture references. So the va va voom I've just talked about. You better give me a room for my va va voom. Apparently that lyric is likely to be a nod to Nicki Minaj's 2012 track Va Va Voom.
No, I'm not going to accept that.
Fair enough.
I think it is more because your man Dan Gillespie is from The Feeling, and do you remember the adverts whenever we were younger? You gotta have your va-va-voom.
Okay. So he nicked it from the advert?
Yeah, and it was like, was it Terry Henry or something used to say?
Va-va-voom.
Va-va-voom.
In that French accent.
Yeah, va-va-va-voom.
I mean,
it's probably not, and like Lauren
just gave me the eyes there when I did va-va-voom. It's like, ooh, do it again, say it again.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
It's not like it, but that's me.
It's not. Nicki Minaj who?
Yeah.
Nicki
Minaj.
She's going to come for you. She's cray-cray.
She is cray-cray.
Oh God, we're going to get sued. Nicki Minaj is going to sue us. We love Nicki Minaj, particularly Anaconda. I think that's a real good hit of hers. It's not Jamie, so let's move on.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So my learning, again, was just all about the self-discovery, just how you can overcome homophobia, bullying, and just overcoming prejudice. But there's just so much learning. I ended up watching the movie. I've seen it before, but I ended up watching it recently with my 12-year-old.
Oh, amazing.
Didn't say much about it.
Okay.
She's aware of the musical.
You're the best mom, you know that.
Oh,
I love that you've done that.
Yeah. I didn't say much about it. She's sort of aware. She likes to like listen to musicals in her own time. She doesn't like to be them to be forced upon her.
My goodness, like mother, like daughter.
I know.
She is literally you and mini me.
So she watched it and she was really into it, and she at certain points would have said, oh, "Jamie, you're a wee bit off there," and like, or no, I would go and confront the mum about that situation, and then she'd be like, "No, he's not responding well," and it was just really nice to watch it through her eyes.
Yeah.
While it was on, my 10-year-old then came in.
Okay.
And was very intrigued by what was going on.
Okay.
You know, why did he want to do that? But again was like, this is really good. And they were both watching it. You know, she was really watching it and he was happy. And I just thought, this is just class that you are able to watch and accept and have
we're
questions.
But
better,
like, aren't we?
We're not, like, nobody felt confused or embarrassed about asking those questions because it was just open and it was great. And
how times have changed.
I just really loved it. So
I love it too.
And it was actually that you know, my daughter said, this is a real musical about friendship and love, and I was like, it is. Like, it really is. And I just thought that was great.
And being there for each other.
Yeah. And what the production team and creatives from Jamie have done, they have released personal social health education unpack for anybody in year 9. So in England their years are 1 year behind us, so it would be our year 10.
Okay, yeah.
So what's that, about 14, 15 year olds, which is kind of a nice age to start really looking at all of that. And it's not, I had a look at it, I would teach a little bit of personal social development and all of that, and I had a look at it, and it's not pushy, it's not, you know, forthcoming, and it's not like forcing any ideas down anybody's throats. It's about being respectful and overcoming prejudice and having that self-discovery. And I was like, that's fab that like educational tools have come from
this. That's it. And even like you're talking about self-discovery, but even like that song Wall in My Head that Jamie sings, it's so true. Like the lyrics are so clever. He sings, just one tiny thought, it started out so small, the thought made a brick, the bricks made a wall, and the wall keeps me down, the wall keeps trips me up, and it keeps building and building and building the wall in my head. And then he goes on to, over the wall I see my future standing tall. Like, but it's so true. Like even those just like we self-doubts that everybody has, it starts so small, but then they just they build and build and build, and they make it like a wall in your head, don't they? And it's about like trying to break those walls down. And I just thought, really clever lyrics, really good way of explaining it to somebody that just doesn't understand what's going on, or why they're finding something so difficult, or they're having self-doubt or confidence issues, or just really clever. Yeah,
and I think as well, as a teenager, we've all been teenagers, and we all have a very difficult time, whether you know you're on what, you know, whatever the path is, everybody is going to have self-doubts about everything, and I just love that song is so open and honest, and it doesn't, you could sing it as a queer person and you could sing it as a straight person.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And you could sing it as a 20-year-old, you could sing it as a 40-year-old, you could sing it as a teenager, you could sing it because they are all human emotions.
Yeah, we all have that wall in our head. Yeah. And what have you got next?
So my musical lyrical lingo only come from 2 songs. So we like to do it in order. But have you got work of art?
Yeah, it was a revelation to me when I started researching work of art. Because to be fair, it's Miss Hedge's song, isn't it?
Introducing Miss Hedge. Hedge.
I think it's Hedge.
It is Hedge.
I also love where it comes from when Jamie is in the toilet drawing on his eyebrows and makes a disaster when he's like, I am not coming out, and she is a cow.
She's horrible.
At the start, like she's like, out now, Jamie knew, and he comes out with these like big rainbow eyebrows.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, look at you, a work of art.
Yeah.
But the content of this song is, and I've never really picked it up, because the song itself is so go. Look at me go with the lingo. It's so go, so quick. There's rap. There's, do you know what I mean? It's just endless.
Yeah,
but
you need to be.
There's so much in it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you need to be really, really looking at it.
So, what did you learn from work of art?
So it is actually a really good song to introduce you to a whole load of artists.
Yeah. Anybody studying GCSE art should be made listen to this song before you start.
And then you can go, actually before GCSE, you should actually be looking at this probably before GCSE art. So it mentions Tate, and that's obviously a reference to the Tate Modern in London. I think that's one of my favourite places.
Have you been into it?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever been. I haven't ever been into the Tate Modern. I've walked past it many a time, and outside it looks so industrial and like, so not what it is inside. You know, being like an art gallery and, you know, an arty space. It looks like a factory, like a big massive brick building. So I do think at some point I need to go in. When we go to London, we always like to do like a wee show or a concert and a museum or something like that. So I think maybe the next time we go, we'll maybe take in the Tate for a day.
Yeah, do that.
They've always got superbly talented buskers.
Oh yeah, they do.
At the front of the Tate,
and hot nuts.
And hot nuts. There you go. I haven't tried their hot nuts now, but like the last time we walked past the Tate, there was like like literally a 12-year-old singing and playing the trumpet, both like outstandingly well. I was like, okay, that child, like that kid is a star.
Amazing.
Why is he not in school though? Well, that was the only thing we did go. He's amazing. Why is he not in school? Spot teacher.
So that's the Tate Modern. Then it says how do we say that?
Liechtenstein dot.
Liechtenstein dot.
That's what friends are for.
So Liechtenstein then, it's called the Bay Day dots. So it's that comic like art.
Yeah.
And that style of art is called pointillism.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know. I didn't write that down.
Yeah. And you would all know it.
Yeah. Yeah, so Roy Lichtenstein is an American pop artist of the 1950s. It's almost like comic book style, isn't it? Yeah. Made from tiny wee dots. Yeah, Lichtenstein dot.
Yeah, and then there's the Tracy Emin.
You're a bed with the Tracy Emin.
So it says bed with Tracy Emin. So she is a very famous contemporary artist. Mainly in it was still around, but her work sort of blew up in the 90s, and her famous bed was called My Bed.
Yeah, so
in 1998.
The bed was a 1998-1999 exhibition, which was the most in the most part mocked by the media for being literally her unmade bed.
But that's what contemporary art is.
Well, many questioned whether this was a step too far and whether it could actually be considered art.
But if you look at the reason why she was showing it, it was her state of depression, and the reason why her bed had got like that. Her bed had become just a place where she couldn't move from. So that's why it was so messy. So it's more about her state of mind. See, it's not just all. You gotta understand the meaning behind it. Art is subjective.
So why are those pair of shoes sitting on that floor with a glass beside it?
But you
What's
see,
the reason for that?
If you look at that, what that is saying is somebody was so tired that they left those shoes and that glass. And
at the
really,
backside.
Yeah, it's that they can't pick up after themselves.
But
so
you'll
there's,
pick up, won't you?
So there's, maybe an illness or a lack of wanting to tidy up after themselves.
And about 65 listeners have now turned off.
But art is subjective.
It is.
And actually, as you go further on in this song, we then... Well, there's Grayson Perry, who is a contemporary artist, writer.
You're Grayson Perry's next pot.
Yes. So he's a broadcaster. Sorry, they are a broadcaster. And they are known for their
ceramics.
Pottery. Ceramics and vases.
Vase. And they're cross-dressing.
And they're a cross-dresser.
And their artwork contains bright colours.
Very
bright character, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this next one. Do you have?
Yeah, so Dunchamp.
Okay, yeah. Dunchamp's urinal.
Mm-hmm. So this is a ready-made sculpture by Marcel Dunchamp, and it was sold for $1.85 million.
And it's literally a urinal, like, set.
Yeah, so there was a I don't know if it was a competition or it was just like contemporary art was going on, and there was a space area, and he literally just lifted a urinal, turned it upside down. The actual art piece is called The Fountain.
Yeah.
And he just signed it and then put 1917 on the side and was like, this is art. And I was like, that's not art. But again, what he was trying to say is like, this is, a mass produced item. But he's then turned it to something else. Again, it's art. But it's subjective.
He hasn't. He's taken a urinal and turned it upside down and written his name and a date on it.
But then let's look at Damien Hirst. He's also mentioned in this.
Well, that's true. Yeah, so you're half a dead cow in a tank. At least he went to a wee bit more effort.
Of killing at least 400 animals.
So this is a reference to the modern artist Damien Hirst, who created the artwork Mother and Child Divided. This, along with the similar floor-based sculpture pieces, literally displays dissected animals within tanks. Yeah.
Have you ever seen any Damien Hirst work?
No.
So I have.
I don't think I'm... I like... Maybe this is why I haven't been to the Tate. I like art, as in...
Like pictures, paintings, sculptures.
Yes, exactly. I love a sculpture.
Okay.
I love a sculpture. But I just don't get this nonsense. Oh, they're going to come for me.
No, because I don't know how many times I said art is subjective.
I know, but it's like that's just.
I know, but it is.
But you tell me I could have made a fortune by now by turning.
Yeah, absolutely.
A clock upside down.
So whenever I was in Chicago with my dad, we went to the art museum, and it was the best day. It was the best day. There was so many paintings there that just seeing them in real life were just like American Gothic was there. It was brilliant. Whenever we got to the contemporary art section, like Dad took part in some sort of he made some art, and do you know what it was? It was just Quality Street wrappers. And
Did
you
just get to eat the Quality Street?
No, it's just the wrappers, and you just made a different thing out of it, and he was like, oh, I added to that. But we were standing and we were looking at some sculptures, some whatever, and there was a tour. I think it was probably like an art class, like a university art class going on. So we were sort of listening in, and behind us was a Welsh dresser type thing, or like a big closet.
Yeah.
With doors on it, and it was just china, bits of china, and teapots and all of those things inside this thing. Didn't see much of it. That was a Damien Hirst piece.
Okay.
Well, we walked past it.
Yeah.
And to me, it didn't say anything. It didn't make me feel anything while standing maybe in front of some paintings. I was like, oh, I get a real emotion from that, or I really like that, or I really don't like that.
Yeah.
Well, that I just thought, come on.
Yeah.
But then I didn't know what the story was behind it, so I think that's what happens with a lot of this stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah. Do you have any other musical lyrical lingo?
So I just love the song Over the Top and all the different war references that are in it.
War references?
So Over the Top is a saying.
Over the top, my friend.
So it is, over the top is what they would have had to have done to go fight. So that's over the top, the trenches. Yeah. You've got the war paint on.
Yeah.
And if you listen to that thinking about war, then it actually becomes very
and that song
military.
Loco Chanel sings to Jamie about taking that jump into drag, like giving it a go, doing his first drag show, see how it goes.
And that's sort of where his name comes from.
Yeah. Me. Yeah, because he asks, what's this all about? I don't know. Or what's his name? What's your name? What's this all about? I don't know. And then he goes, it's about me. And then he gets, that's it, me. And everybody's talking about Jamie. Everybody's talking about Jamie. Everybody's talking about a boy in a dress who was born to impress. Oh, whoa. Everybody's talking about Jamie. Dum. The set's also kind of cool in the show.
Is it?
Just saying, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all like light panels and stuff.
Oh, really cool. Okay, cool.
So when everybody's talking about Jamie, that comes after Jamie's done his first drag show, and they come into school the next day and they're like, oh my goodness, didn't you see Jamie last night? Oh my goodness. And like the naivety and the not knowing anything about that kind of like world is quite funny, isn't it? And one of them sings, so what's a lip sync? Is it like kissing? Yeah. And I just remember I didn't know what a lip sync was until I stumbled across like an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race where the end of the last episode, like, or the last part of each episode is where the two competing drag queens have to do lip sync, so that mouthing of songs.
Lip sync for your life.
Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah, no, I love all that because it's also and actually it was, my daughter picked up on that song is just Chinese whispers, or that song is just how rumours spread.
Exactly, that's exactly it. And like, and they get more...
His name was Mormon, or I think he was a Mormon, you know.
Exactly, they get more exaggerated as the song goes on. Yeah. I think it does that really well. Like they get kids of that age and what they're like. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It just blows my mind that a 16-year-old was as brave as Jamie Campbell was.
Yeah, and they changed the name in the show to Jamie New. Yeah. But I wonder, is that just a...
I wondered that too. Because I thought he was called Jamie New until I went, oh no, but it was... The documentary was all about Jamie Campbell.
That's all I really learned. Yeah, just apart from... self-discovery and stuff.
And when did you first come across it then?
So I was aware of a couple of the songs before I knew that it was based on this. So maybe about 2019 I was maybe fully aware of the musical and I maybe listened to it. What about you?
I was first aware of it when I saw the broadcast in the cinemas.
Oh, okay.
Of the musical.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it, but was then completely railroaded.
Ah, okay.
So there's not many musical songs that I would struggle to listen to, but I adore and love in equal measures.
Okay.
But the first time I heard that song that the mum sings, My Boy.
Oh, My Boy. He's my boy.
He's my boy, and then the other one, My Man, Your Boy, which come like pretty much back to back.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was with one of my best friends, Bex, and I like completely lost it in the theatre,
really?
like proper like crying and like to the point where you're struggling for breath.
Okay, yeah, so, just overcome with so much emotion.
Yeah, and we know like we're in the same situation with regards to our mums, but I completely like it I didn't see it coming and went, like gut punch, just because the lyrics are so like, you know, that's what mums do for the wee boys. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God. And you know, I am exactly the same. Like I still, anytime I hear it, I will get emotional. But having seen the broadcast, I then rushed to see it as soon as I could in London.
Okay.
And I remember I just went on my own, like it was a solo trip, and I was like, I have to see Jamie. Saw it, loved it, and then they brought out that like the broadcast thing again in cinemas. I think they still do every so often. It just goes on. So and I've seen it again, and I think I scared another one of my friends, because when it got to that moment, it was like, oh my God, he's crying. What do we do? So, but I would love to see, and I've seen like a UK tour, but I would love to see the current UK tour that's out. I would love to see it.
And what they've done again with this, which we've talked about before, is like limited editions, like 6 weeks at a time. Well, what they've been doing with some of their casting is that people have been in it for 6 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And it kind of keeps the tour a bit fresh.
I agree.
Especially because I think they're doing what I would call a close-knit tour, where they're maybe going to towns which are not that far apart from each other.
Yeah.
And they're maybe staying for a little bit longer than what they normally would. So it's kind of giving you a chance to go and see a completely different cast.
And I think it will fit into any theatre. Like I think it can fit staging wise into even some of the smaller theatres that maybe lose out on some of the other UK touring productions. Do you know what I mean? So it's just nice that it's going to so many of those venues that you say. I think the more people that see it, the better. Do you know what I mean? It's just brilliant. But back to what you've just said, and also what we'd said at the beginning, they are really bucks and clever with regards to their casting. So they have had really big names, and not just in like one or two of the roles, like they've been able to spread it across, that they've had names playing, you know, Giovanna Fletcher's just finished playing Miss Hedge.
Yeah.
You've had
Michelle Visage played her.
Yeah. And then you've also got like, you know, John Partridge, Shane Ritchie,
Kevin Clifton is about to
play.
Go in, yeah.
They've all played or are going to play Loco Chanel. You know, it's really open to lots of big names being cast in it, and I think as long as they're up to the job, I think it's great for this particular music, because it is modern and it will bring people to it.
It's slightly different to stunt casting, because actually all of these people either come from a musical theatre background or a theatre background or a singing background, so they're not just putting a name in.
No, that's
or
what
it's
I
like they've only maybe released one song. They're actually singers. Like Sam Bailey is going to be Miss Hedge.
Oh, fantastic!
And she's great. She was on the X Factor, and she's great.
Well, that's it. As producers and casting directors, they're doing it properly. Do you know what I mean? They're not casting people just for the sake of casting it, which sometimes, let's be honest, happens.
Yeah.
Actually, the people they're putting in can't do the job really well. Like Bianca Del Rio is a perfect example. Who would have ever thought that would have worked? Yeah. You know, obviously we know that Bianca Del Rio is a drag queen. Yes. That is what she does. But
but for that
just
character,
because she's a drag queen doesn't mean she's going to work in a musical.
No.
Playing a drag queen.
But also, she's not a drag queen for the whole 90 minutes. It's not just a matter of her being the drag queen. There is a lot of acting and stuff in that in that character.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I don't think I would ever get bored of this, because it has everything. You laugh, you cry. It's a good old bop at the end.
It is. Anytime the songs come on, you find yourself, especially that everyone's talking about Jamie, you find yourself humming it. Or now what we've sort of done is like, there's a clock on the wall and it's moving too slow. You're kind of like, or just saying like one or two lines from it, and like you said, at the there's some really good bops, but then there's some like He's My Boy is
emotional mess.
So beautiful, and I actually loved how Sarah Lancashire.
Oh, I agree.
Played that, but she's a fantastic actress.
Amazing. But this is it. When they announced the casting for that film adaptation, I went, oh my goodness, they couldn't have got it more perfect, because you know what she's like as an actress, and you're like, she is going to be unbelievable. And she herself has musical theatre training. I remember seeing her play the female lead in Betty Blue Eyes.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness, what a show. And she was unbelievable.
Yeah.
In a Yorkshire accent as well. Like, her Yorkshire accent's fab.
And then, so they're my standing ovations, or the song He's My Boy and the song The Wall in My Head.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, there's something for everybody in Everyone's Talking About Jamie. There really is, you know. There's some upbeat songs, there's the slow ones, there's the ones that you just want to dance to.
Josie Walker's rendition of If I Met Myself Again as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness me.
She is great. So do please go and listen to the original cast recording.
It might be a bit controversial, because obviously everybody's talking about Jamie. Jamie's the main character, but I think the mum actually is the star of the show, or the unsung hero, because like her story arc is also like so huge, and she's got some bang. Like, she's got 3 whoppers of songs to like get through every night, 8 times a week. Yeah. If I Met Myself Again, Josie Walker. Do you know, Josie, I don't know if you're listening, but if you are listening, would you ever come back to Belfast and do a one-woman concert?
That would be fab.
Wouldn't she be unbelievable though? Yeah. Like, she's been in some fab shows. Like, she would have a real good like repertoire for a concert. Please, Josie Walker, come back to Belfast and see us. Please. Come to Belfast. She doesn't sing that one, but I sure.
I was trying to sing Belfast, and then I like forgot the tune, so I just made up a wee song, Come to Belfast. Belfast.
I think we need to do a Priscilla episode sometime soon. And
1,000%.
I think we come dressed up as our drag alter egos.
I know, the perfect. I'm gonna lend you one. Because the perfect,
because Lauren has loads of them in her closet, loads of wigs.
I know what costume would be perfect for us for Priscilla.
What?
The Caribbean.
I'm never wearing that costume again. You've already embarrassed me on this podcast once with the choice of costume. We're not going there again.
But not yours. You can wear one of mine.
Thanks.
That has to be our Priscilla costumes.
I'm not so sure.
100%.
I'm not so sure Venus Raven Von Tits would be wearing that.
I mean, what do you see Raven
Sparkle
wearing? Yeah, like a sparkle evening.
What colour would it be though?
Purple.
Purple. Oh, gee whiz, I can see it now.
Do you think you're in a long sparkly evening gown? Or do you think you're in like a
No, I think I'm in a Tina Turner short.
My goodness, with heels or with like knee-high boots?
Boots.
It's like you've thought about this.
No, I really haven't.
That is, yeah. I'm going to sketch it out.
I can't wait to hear off air how you came up with those names or how they were generated, let me tell you. Well, until next week, it might be Tim and Lauren, or it might be Venus Von Tits and
Serena Cummings.
I've only just realised
have you?
The innuendo in yours.
Oh, right, and not the innuendo in yours.
Oh, well, it's very clear.
Yeah. That's why mine and Lauren's are the same.
Well, I know that.
The same surname.
Yeah, I know.
Right, okay.
I kind of get to put that together, but I'm only now thinking of... Yes, anyway, we're going to move on. Until next week. Hope everybody's going to be talking about us this week, right? Absolutely. Everybody's talking about Musical Lyrical. Oh, very good. Well done. I was trying to get the name of the podcast and it's not working.
Everyone's talking about Tim and LJ.
Everybody's talking about Tim and LJ.
Talking about them.
Work of art. We're a perfect work of art. Till next week.
Bye.